top of page 38, continuing on. Which chapter in Blood on the River?
6.
Okay. So we're ready to go? We have our rising action roller coaster written on our dry erase. Our pages in hand. Your little papers to help you follow along. Okay, let's move along. I gladly, very gladly, help load bedding, tents, pots, and pans onto the longboat to take ashore. The Godspeed and the Discovery anchor nearby as well, and their men unload. This will be the first time since we left England that all of us, all 105 of us men and boys, who are passengers and 3 crews of sailors, will be together in one place. There are probably Carib Indians on the island, Captain Newport tells us, but we will give them beads and our soldiers will stand guard at night, so we'll be safe. I'm one of the last to go ashore. When I finally stand on the white sand, it feels as if it's moving under me. I laugh out loud. More than 3 months on a ship has confused my legs so much that solid land feels like a rocking deck. Samuel, look, we're Carib Indians, James calls to me. He and Richard have taken off their shirts and they are running naked through the water, splashing each other. I've been watching for James or Richard or both to tell me how wrong I was, and they were right about the Caribs, but neither of them has. I have been on my guard, ready to rough them up if they say one word about it. And they're taunting me now. Are they taunting me now? Showing me what naked Caribs look like? Telling me that I was wrong not to believe them? Top of page 39. Come on, Samuel! James stands in waist-deep water, dripping wet. His skin is peaked pale, and his fair hair is plastered against his head. It's salty, he says, and licks some water from his hand. It's fun. Come and swim with us. I blink at him. No taunting. No insisting they were right and I was wrong. No hating me for how badly I have treated him and Richard this whole journey. I wonder if James can really be this forgiving, or if he simply is so happy to be off that stinking ship that he has forgotten the past. Come on, you prig, calls to Richard. You need a good delousing. Oh, that makes me mad. You're the one who has brought lice onto the ship. So that context, what does delousing mean? What is delousing? You're getting close, but you're not completely warm. What if you delouse something? Have you ever defleed your dog?
Yes.
So think about delouse. Taking the lice off. Lice is one, louse is like more than one, the plural form of lice. Now, do they have those boxes where they could comb it out?
No.
So they had to pull it out or really clean themselves.
Oh, that's horrible.
Really the best way I think they used to do is just shave their heads. I yank off my shirt and I charge into the water. I splash Richard in the face until he begs for breath. And when I stop, he is gasping. He smiles a little as if he wants to pretend it was fun, but I know it wasn't. My eyes dare him to try to splash me back or insult me again. I know he will not. He doesn't want to lose another 2. Stop, you 2, James whines. Look at the fish. He tries his best to distract Richard and me from our quarrel. I feel tickling on my legs. And when I look down into the clear water, I see small blue and yellow fish nibbling on me. The water is warm, so much warmer than the Thames. I want to live here forever, James says. I'd never go back to my stepmom, ever. She would think I died, and that would make me happy. That would make her happy. Oh, I want to stay here too, says Richard. I wouldn't be cold ever again. I shake my head. I still want to go to Virginia. There's a sack of gold waiting for me there, and maybe even 10 sacks. Reverend Hunt calls to us from shore. Boys, come here and put your shirts on. The sun will burn your skin. I wish we didn't have to leave the water, but we do what Reverend Hunt says. Disobeying him would be like disobeying God. When we get to shore, he is holding our shirts and 3 wide-brimmed straw hats. The sun here is like 10 English suns. You put these on. Reverend Hunt waits while we pull on our shirts over our heads and tie the strings under our chins. Now, there's work to be done. There are tents to be set up. The cook wants all the pots scrubbed with sand, and Captain Ratcliffe wants the path cut to the baths. They have found hot baths in the forest, and he says the gentleman can't be tromping through underbrush to get to them. Top of page 41. Captain Ratcliffe of the beady eyes and the pointy nose. Captain Smith grumbles that he doesn't see why the gentleman can't walk through the forest just like anybody else, but Captain Ratcliffe has the power to give orders, not Captain Smith. When we join the others, I see the older boy, Nathaniel. He is holding a hatchet. He must be on his way to help clear the path. I don't want to scrub pots like a woman, so I hurry to get one of the hatchets too. I swing it a few times to feel the weight and power. I want to do a man's job. Henry, Abram, Nathaniel, and several of the sailors start toward the forest with their hatchets. So I follow them. Oh, what do we have here? Henry turns to look at me and stops to block my way. A scrawny chicken coming to work with the men? I don't answer. I want to say I wouldn't be so scrawny if he'd leave more of the food for me. I try to skirt around and continue to go on my way, but he puts out one powerful arm to stop me. Go back and scrub pots with the other boys, he growls. You only get in the way. He yanks the hatchet out of my hand and cuffs me. I glare at him silently as he turns and walks after the others. What is he going to do with 2 hatchets? I hope he chops himself in the leg. Reluctantly, I go find the cook. He is already hovering over Richard and James, showing them how to scoop a handful of sand with a rag and use it to scrub the mess pots. They haven't had a really good cleaning in 3 months, so the sand has some hard work to do. I join them, toiling under the hot sun until sweat drips from my face. I wish I could be back, playing in the salty sea, or swinging a hatchet in the shade of the forest. Please go back and look at that word toiling. What would be a good synonym for toiling? Write it down underneath your rising action roller coaster, please. Or above, wherever you have room. Equals, toiling equals what? Give me a nice synonym for, we're going to need to move those, that's twice as heavy. A nice synonym for toiling. After you found the synonym, before you show me, go ahead and plug it into the context. Does that make the most sense? So if you chose burning, does that make sense? Go back and plug in burning. Okay, hot, does that make the most sense? Go back and plug that one in. Oh, that's a good one. It works, but if I were to look up the definition of toiling, root word toil, that wouldn't be the first definition, although I really like it. I think it works well there. Okay, the first word fits perfectly. That's the best one I've seen all day, Emma. I'm so proud of you. Where? Point to it. Yes! 2 of you. Go back and plug that in. Does that make sense? No, I can see why you'd say that, though, because the sun is so high. Doesn't rhyme with it, necessarily. Emma, can you tell the class what you said?
Working.
Working. Good, Alana and Mallory. Good. Working. Very good, Summer. Working makes the most sense. Working hard. What did you say, Kendall?
Suffering.
Suffering. I could see that because he is suffering under the hot sun. He's working so hard. Okay. Yours just don't want to stay on your desk. Oh, no, you can erase it. Suddenly, okay, so before we go any further, let's go to our rising action roller coaster. Calm. What's calm right now? He's cleaning. He's toiling underneath the hot sun, right? So we can add that because it's not, I mean, yeah, he's uncomfortable, but is this anything like really exciting or wild or nerve-wracking or violent or anything like that? So we're just going to say toiling. You want to say toiling to clean? That's what Sam is doing right now. Remember, we're going to stay with Sam's perspective at the moment. Okay, so now what just happened that made our roller coaster go cha-ching? No. Go to the next sentence. What made us go start rising on our roller coaster? Read that first sentence on the next paragraph. Suddenly a scream comes from the forest.
That's not scary.
That's not scary?
I think it is.
If you heard one of your own men scream from the forest, you wouldn't find that scary?
No.
Are you being silly? Are you being facetious? I think you are. A scream came or comes from the forest. I don't know. I'm going to say coming. We'll make it present tense. Okay, I'm trying to hurry up because we only have a few minutes before we have to switch. A man's scream of pain. Now, how often do you hear a man scream of pain?
Not that.
Not very often at all. Okay.
Not like that.
Soon there is another cry, and then such shouting and shrieking it turns my blood cold. So, are we going to add that? His blood turns cold. Okay, and I should be writing a lot smaller because I'm going to run out of room. Sam's, and I hope you're writing with me. Blood turns cold. These are the things, boys and girls, that if you are really reading, if you are really comprehending, instead of sitting like this on your seat, you're like this, and you're like this, and you're just like, and if I'm looking at you, your facial expression is just like so intently waiting to find out what happens next in the text. Yes,
That's
Emma.
how it was earlier when I first read it. Yeah, I was like, where did you just read that at?
Okay, we are at the top of page 42, and I'm looking at the shouting and shrieking in the middle of the second paragraph. It turns my blood cold. I remember Captain Smith, his answer when I asked him if the carriage chopped people up for the cook pot. What was his reply?
Only if they catch them.
The path cutters, I shout. It's coming from that direction. Gentlemen and soldiers grab their weapons and hurry toward the terrible sound. James and Richard huddle together behind the largest cook pot. I spot a sword and a belt someone had left lying on the sand. Quickly, I try to fasten the belt around me. It's too big. I pull the sword out of the sheath, and with the bare sword, I run toward the sound of the battle. Let me just ask you, what can we infer about Samuel's character when he picks up a sword and he runs toward the battle instead of away?
He likes to
But how do we know what kind of person is brave? What else?
He's willing to help.
Helpful. He's what?
He likes action.
He likes action. He's not going to be one to run away and hide behind a big cook pot. He wants to know what's going on and probably how he can help.
I would be the one hiding behind the cook pot.
I might be too. I don't know how I would react to that situation. But I think it says so much for his character that he runs toward the action and the cries for help. Down the newly cut path I go, high stepping over stumps and roots, following the soldiers and the gentlemen. We all converge on one path. We all converge on the path cutters. They are yelling and writhing as if they are fighting an invisible demon. Henry is hopping, swatting his arms and neck, shouting in agony. There is not a cherub in sight. What is this? Reverend Hunt demands, his voice booming over the cries. What is happening here? Fire! Henry cries. It feels like fire! I jerk my head around, searching the jungle. Have the cherubs attacked and run off? Or is some strange beast there? I hold out my sword, ready to fight, but I see nothing. The hatchets are all on the ground. Reverend Hunt reaches to pick one up. No, Reverend, don't touch it. It's Captain Smith's voice. Angry red welts are raising up on Henry's arms and neck, on Abram and the others too. To the baths, Captain Smith orders them. That will give you some relief. They take off running, swatting at themselves as they go. It's the machinio tree, Captain Smith says when things have quieted down. The cherubs use its sap to poison their arrows, and it burns like fire. Our men must have chopped into it. So you know what happens when you chop into a tree, right? If it has any of the sap in it, what happens to that sap? I don't know if it explodes but without you even